In particular, the main mechanism of ivermectin is it targets what's called cancer stem cells. And this is literally the source of some of these cancers. Like sometimes you'll get rid of the tumor with, chemo or radiation, but the cancer stem cells are still there. And so they're going to come back. The cancer is going to come back. You eliminate those, they're not going to come back. Ivermectin targets them potently. And then mebendazole particularly targets what's called microtubules in the cancer cells. That's crucial for cellular division. And so you cut those off, they won't be able to divide anymore. And so again, very strong mechanisms. And then two more things. Mebendazole and ivermectin inhibit what's called glucose metabolism in these cancer cells. So, cancer cells love to feed off of glucose, sugar. You cut off that metabolism, they won't be able to take in the sugar and glucose anymore, and they'll shrink. And so that's what they find in the experiments. And so that's why it's not surprising why we see these results in the first real-world human study.
So if you don't have cancer, you can take this really as a preventative for cancer? Do we have that direct link yet between parasitic infection and cancer? Maybe the CIA did 50 years ago and they hid it from us.
Yeah, we think in at least a subset of cases that parasites could be a root cause of some of these cancers. We don't know how many, what percent, but it could be playing a role for sure. We know that they operate with the similar mechanisms, parasites and tumors, and that is particularly why we think it works, but it also could be because there are literally parasites in these areas of cancer. It's a mix of so many things because there's so many different types of cancer, and so it's hard to really pinpoint, one single cause. But we know, we want to target as many mechanisms as possible, and these antiparasitics do that across 12 mechanisms.
So can you explain the mechanism here with a parasite? You get a parasite, whether it's from eating, raw fish or some food or out hiking or something. I don't know how you're getting these parasites particularly through the environment. Maybe you do specifically. And then how is it causing a replication of cells in the body? I'm thinking of a parasite like a tapeworm that's just kind of living off of the food that I'm feeding it.
Yeah, so the mechanism behind that, well, first, you would get the parasite. Sometimes you get it from eating raw food, sometimes sushi. This is a big culprit. If you have a cat, and you go in their litter box often, or, you go swim in some river and it's littered with a bunch of parasites, you swallow some of that water. So there's many different transmission routes to become infected with them. And so that's that.